Hi members, Jennifer Marusak, your Vice President of Governmental Affairs here, and today we are lucky to have with us Representative Herbert Dixon from Alexandria. Representative Dixon is the chairman of our House Labor Committee. And Representative Dixon, first of all, I just want to say thank you very much for your time today and for all the work that you have done on behalf of providers in the workers' compensation arena. I just want to touch on a couple of quick things for our viewers. There have been a lot of changes in workers' compensation in the last 5 years. I know you all worked very hard and you helped spearhead some of those efforts to put in place some treatment guidelines that were protecting the physician and the patient relationship while also ensuring that we were able to streamline care and get those workers back to work as soon as possible. Can you talk to us some about what the feedback is that you're getting from providers, from insurers, from patients about how those treatment guidelines are working?
Yes, we have a medical examiner, that oversee the cases as they are presented on workers' compensation. But the first thing I want to emphasize is that it's still a work in progress. This is a relatively new program. This program, I think, is about 3 years old. And one of the things that we faced in the state of Louisiana is this tremendous period of time to get injured workers back to work. And many people know in my area that I work with the Louisiana Federation of Teachers, a teachers union. But we service food service technicians, we service custodians, maintenance employees, individuals that went out and did physical work, got injured on the job, and then as a school board member for 14 years, I recognized as a school board member and as an employer that these individuals didn't return to work for many, many months. Now that system needed to be a change. As I said, Louisiana had this high rate of individuals coming back to work. So what we put in place, I think, is a good first and second step. Now, I'm not going all the way to the third step right, because there are some things that need to be tweaked with this effort. And what we did just last year is put all the stakeholders together, the doctors, the insurers and employers and employees, and put those individuals together with individuals from the Workforce Commission to see how could we better work the system that we have. We do have some problems, and some of those problems are being addressed.
Now, Chairman Dixon, part of your role as chairman of the House Labor Committee is to carry the legislation which we call the sunset legislation. And that is simply renewing these statutory requirements to reauthorize the Department of Labor, which is now actually the Workforce Commission. Of course, we all know that the workers' compensation falls underneath that Workforce Commission. Now, we ran into a few bumps in the road a couple of weeks ago. I know that you and the Director of Workers' Comp, Wes Hadaway, reached out to myself and to others, and we were able to come to the Senate committee last week and testify on behalf of your bill. Can you talk to us about your efforts in that area?
Well, it was a difficult thing. As a legislator, when you get a sunset bill, you kind of move that on the side because that's a bill like you indicated. It's reinstating something that's been in existence, and certainly the Workforce Commission is a huge agency with state government. It deals with all labor-related matters, and certainly we needed that to be reinstated effective July 1st of the new fiscal year. Well, lo and behold, there were some concerns about reinstating the Workforce Commission, and those concerns dealt with what we talked about earlier. We are into this new era of workers' compensation with guidelines, and some of these things are causing some problems in some individuals' mind as to how we're delivering this system. And they chose, I think, the sunset bill, which is what you're supposed to do in committee. So I'm not lashing out. It wasn't anything I expected. But when you're re-establishing an agency of government, that is the proper time to ask questions, to find out and delve into those things of concern during the duration of the existence of that agency. So this was a part of it. I just wasn't ready. I didn't think that it was coming at this venture, but it did. And I think we got some things out, and I think Senator Martinez said it best, is that we need to have the dialogue, but maybe not that much dialogue on something so critical to the state of Louisiana.
Now, Chairman Dixon, one of the problems with the whole workers' comp in general, I believe, that all the providers and patients and insurers, everybody runs into, and that's what we like to call the hassle factor. The mountains and mountains of paperwork, the additional staff that our providers have to provide to go after those claims to fill out that paperwork.
And I think I said earlier that, you know, we've progressed in what we're trying to do with workers' comp. We may be 1, 2, but we're not at 3, and this is the third part. You know, how can you condense, how can you make this a little more simplified for not only the worker, but for those individuals that have to provide for the workers. And one of the things that I'm leaning on is the Workers' Comp Advisory Committee. And as you know, I hold a whole lot of trust in that committee. It's difficult to get 70% of those folks to agree on something. Ultimately, I think when those issues are vetted by that professional group that represents so many cross sections of those individuals that work in the work field, I think that's where we're going to find our solution. You know, I wish I could tell you right now that, you know, well, with medical records now being, with the technology, maybe we can streamline this. I think we're headed in that direction. But what we have in place right now needs to be streamlined a little bit better. And I think that Workers' Comp Advisory Committee is going to be an entity that may lead us into the direction on how we can do that.
Well, Chairman Dixon, thank you so much for your time, and if there's anything that you would like to tell our viewers.
No, that your members do an excellent job in keeping us informed about those issues that's important in the medical world. And I don't know what they pay you, but it's not enough. But because you do a wonderful job with legislators, and you help inform us so that we can do our jobs for the people.
Well, thank you.